Good evening. I'm happy to be joining you tonight to share about the Ipperwash Casino and its legacy as a summer hotspot. I'll also be casting my eyes a bit farther north and looking into the history of the Lakeview Casino in Grand Bend. My name is Dana Thorne, and I'm the curator supervisor at Lambton Heritage Museum. I've been in that position since 2018. Previously, I worked at the Lambton County Archives in Wyoming. So I've had lots of opportunities to get acquainted with our local history, and it's been a pleasure to be up here in Lambton Shores, where the history is particularly interesting and all the old beach pictures are so fabulous. I'm going to open with a bit of information about Lambton Heritage Museum. We are a community museum that preserves and interprets the history of the County of Lambton. The museum is located about 8 kilometers south of Grand Bend along Highway 21, directly across the highway from Pinery Provincial Park. We are owned and operated by the County of Lambton, and we have a main exhibition building and a 30-acre lot that contains a variety of historic buildings. The museum remains closed under provincial orders, but we look forward to reopening when the stay-at-home orders are lifted and we can safely welcome back visitors. The historic buildings on our site have been brought to the museum from other locations in Lambton County. We've traditionally had 5 historic buildings, including the Rokeby School from Brook Alvinston, which was built in 1899 and moved to the museum in 1990. The Cameron Church, which comes from Don Euphemia. It was built in 1867 and moved to the museum in 2000. The Williamson Blacksmith Shop, which is from Lambton Shores, that was built in the late 1800s and moved to the museum in 1978. The county has a tradition of recognizing extraordinary historic buildings that are at risk and bringing them to the museum, where they can be interpreted and toured by future generations of visitors. Our main exhibition hall has 2 exhibit spaces that present our local history. While we strive to tell stories of all the communities across Lambton County, since we are located in this particular community, we definitely have a bias towards Lambton Shores and a special fondness for this area. I'm looking forward to telling some stories about some hot local entertainment spots tonight. Speaking of which, here's a picture of the Ipperwash Casino. It wasn't a gambling casino in the Las Vegas style, but rather a beach venue for live music, dancing, and dining. It was a central part of the local scene for almost 40 summers. It was built in the spring of 1929. Colonel Duncan Ross, who had served in the First World War, partnered with brothers Stuart and Arthur Ovens of Elsa Craig in the construction. The Ipperwash Casino featured a spacious dining room and all the dancing you could ever want, with regular performances by big bands. I couldn't find any pictures of the interior, but I do have some pictures of the inside of the Lakeview Casino a bit later in my presentation. The Ipperwash Casino was a popular place for live music, dancing, or to stroll along the open-air deck with your sweetie, listening to the waves roll in and off of Lake Huron. John and Jeanette Ovens had a direct connection with the casino, and Jeanette's memories were captured in the book, Lake Huron's Summer Dance Pavilions. She recalled, "My husband's uncle, Stuart Ovens, built the Ipperwash Casino at Ipperwash Beach on Lake Huron in 1929, approximately 50 miles from London. Although John was just a small boy, he remembers spending summers at the Ovens cottage across the road from the casino. To the best of his knowledge, he believes dances were held there nearly every night of the week at that time. The casino and the hotel were 2 different establishments. Not being old enough to wait on customers, it was his job to sweep the floors and do some of the odd jobs." One of the musicians that's documented as having played at the Ipperwash Casino is London musician Jim Steele, who played the venue with the John Brennan Band. You can see the John Brennan Band on the left on this slide. Another band that played in this hall was Freddie Worker's 9-piece orchestra. They were advertised in the clipping on the left of the slide. On the right, it says, "Dancing, Ipperwash Casino, grand opening Friday, May 24th. Old time dancing in Old Time Hall every Monday and Thursday. Cabins and cottages available." The Ipperwash Casino was located at the intersection of West Parkway Drive and Ipperwash Road. It attracted tourists from across southwestern Ontario and played a major role in the community. Eventually, the casino was purchased by Bert Sims in 1959. However, less than 10 years after he took over the business, tragedy would strike for Bert Sims and the Ipperwash Casino. The casino burned in a fire in the summer of 1968. on the evening of August 27th. The Forest Standard reported the next day, the Ipperwash Casino, possibly North Lambton's best-known landmark, was destroyed by fire Tuesday evening, August 27th. The casino has been the summer social center for unknown thousands of teenagers. The fire was discovered shortly before midnight in an apartment at the northwest corner of the second floor. There was a dance at the time, and when asked to leave, the crowd left orderly and without panic. You can see in this picture the extent of the devastation from the fire. The newspaper article continued. The Forest Fire Company received a call to the fire at 11:40 p.m. and fireman Ron Sullivan stated that when the first truck arrived, minutes later, the roof had already collapsed. Flames fanned by a northeast wind enveloped the frame structure in minutes, and the glow of the fire could be seen as far down the lake as Sarnia. Nothing was saved from the building. That's not quite true, as we'll see some artifacts from the museum collection in a moment. Owner Bert Sims said he was unable to accurately assess the loss. Bert Sims didn't end up rebuilding, but he did name the booth at his Esso gas station, the Little Casino. One of the fascinating items in our museum collection is these two chunks of metal with pennies stuck inside. Like many artifacts, context is everything, and something that looks like trash actually has a very interesting story. These two pieces of metal were recovered from the ruins of the Ipperwash Casino after the fire. The coins had melted into the blocks of metal, which were probably originally from a metal drawer in a slot machine from inside the establishment. Another interesting item in our museum collection is this sign, which was donated to Lambton Heritage Museum in 1991. It hung on the casino for years. The sign was picked out of the rubble the morning after the casino burned down in 1968, and it was kept for over 30 years before it was donated to the museum. So while this artifact may look tired and weathered, it has endured many nights on the beach and it survived the building's fire. The artifact definitely has interesting stories to tell. We know it was fished out of the smoking ruins of the Ipperwash Casino, and that makes it more fascinating than ever. Another item from our museum collection that's in slightly better condition is this box of keys, which includes keys to the Ipperwash Casino. We also have some bent wire chairs with circular wooden seats that were used in the casino's ice cream parlor, and an invoice from the casino from 1946 that was donated to us by Doug Ovens, a relation of the Arthur and Stuart Ovens that were early owners. We also have an excellent collection of postcards featuring local landmarks, including the Ipperwash Casino and the beach. You can see one of the postcards on this slide, and many of the images in my presentation come from our postcard collection. Postcards from the late 19th and early to mid 20th centuries often featured rural and urban scenes from across the county. Sometimes a postcard is the only image we have remaining of a building or a place. And often the postcards were actually used, so they are postmarked, which gives us a sense of when they were produced so we can get a better idea of what year the image came from. And as an added bonus, postcards may contain interesting messages on the back that give us a glimpse into people's lives. I'm going to shift gears and look a bit farther north along Lake Huron to Grand Bend. On this slide, you can see the old sign from Main Street, just south of the intersection on Highway 21, juxtaposed with the new sign that's now in about the same location. Just like the Ipperwash Casino was a huge draw, the Lakeview Casino in Grand Bend was another classic summer destination. The Lakeview Casino concept started in 1898 with a developer named John Spackman. He launched the Lakeview House, part cottage and part recreation center. On fine summer evenings, concerts were held around a roaring bonfire. A London grocer named George Eccleston saw potential and bought the entertainment property for $9,100 in 1916. Eccleston's ambitious plans included road improvements, rental of rowboats and bathing suits on the beach, and a diving platform for swimmers. For evening entertainment, Dance Hall of Frame construction was built on the beach. The official opening took place on July 29, 1917, with the Guy Lombardo Orchestra from London providing the music. The band, all members of the Lombardo family, consisted of violinist Guy, brothers Carmen and Lebert on the flute and drums, and Myrtle Hicks at the piano. This was the Lombardos' first professional engagement, for which they earned $10. They went on to have a very successful career. And the popularity of the dance hall over the next 2 seasons warranted the construction of a larger, more permanent structure. The new building, made with poured concrete walls, was completed in 1919. George Eccleston continued to run this business until his death in 1931. His wife Ida took over until 1937, when she sold the business to her daughter Ella and Ella's husband, Eric McElroy. While music was important at the Lakeview Casino, the beach was also a main attraction. Visiting the beach was part of the experience. You can see sunbathers in the picture on the left side. On the right is an artifact from our museum collection that was an important tool for afternoons of summer bliss. This swimmer's basket ensured you could enjoy the beach carefree. At the casino bathhouse, you would load your clothes into the basket and receive a number. You traded this number back at the end of the swim to retrieve your belongings. This particular swimmer's basket dates back to the 1920s and 1930s. It may have been manufactured locally at the Forest Basket Company. The Lakeview Casino also had ball games and a picnic area. Other beach amenities were rowboats, bathing suit rentals, and a diving platform. These offerings were more extensive than the Ipperwash Casino to the south. The other main attraction at the Lakeview Casino, like Ipperwash Casino, was the music. Here you can see 2 different pictures of the interior. Patrons purchased the general admission ticket for 15 cents, which gave you entry only as far as the promenade surrounding the dance floor. Once inside, a pay-as-you-go system known as jitney dancing was in effect. Individuals purchased additional tickets for 5 cents each, entitling them to just one dance. After each song, the floor was cleared of dancers. After tickets had been collected for the next tune and couples assembled on the dance floor, the orchestra would play the next song. A similar system was probably in place at the Ipperwash Casino as well. Some big names played at the Lakeview Casino over the years. This poster is from our archival collection and promotes a show by the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra. Other talent to play the Lakeview Casino included the Glenn Miller Orchestra, Gordy Tapp, the Haynes Sisters, Wally Coster, and Stan Patton. Even Louis Armstrong played here. This picture is from one of the shows that he played at the Lakeview Casino. And we have some signed portraits of Louis Armstrong in our museum collection, which you can see here. Black entertainers like Louis Armstrong were permitted to entertain the crowds, but racism was very much present at the Lakeview Casino. A prominent sign at the entrance to the dance hall read "Gentiles only," and Jewish visitors were banned from entering the building. It's important to remember that rooted racism was and is present in many of our Canadian institutions. There are some other interesting artifacts in our museum collection from the Lakeview Casino. This green leather stool was used in the canteen area. The base was bolted to the floor and visitors could swivel on their seat while enjoying their cocktails. We also have an oval-shaped microphone, which was used on the main stage of the casino. It's fun to look at this microphone and imagine all of the well-dressed and sophisticated singers that crooned into it over the years. These interior pictures allow you to see where the band would have been set up on the main stage. During the 1960s, the music at the Lakeview Casino changed with the times. Rock and roll became popular, and bands with names like the Creeps and the Reefers tried to coax younger audiences onto the dance floor. The popularity of the old-style dance floors from the big band era was waning. The Lakeview Casino was sold to a firm in Windsor in 1966. The business shifted to a pinball arcade and fast food restaurant until it was destroyed by fire in 1981. The grand old lady of the beach at the Bend was no more, and she met a similar end as her cousin from Ipperwash. On my final slide, we're back at the Ipperwash Casino in the 1960s, as the old-style dance pavilions were fading and just before the building was destroyed by fire. Although the Ipperwash Casino building is now gone, we can continue to remember it through the artifacts in the Lambton Heritage Museum collection and by reflecting on old pictures, or anytime we pause for a dance on the beach. Thank you everyone for listening to my presentation.